All right. Good day, everyone. My name is Johan Smith, and today I'll be talking a bit about self-sovereign identities and what the future holds for it. The amount of internet users and the abundance of data has grown significantly over the years. It is estimated that about 5.3 billion people use the internet, and it consists of trillions of terabytes of data, about 44 trillion if you ask ChatGPT. That's a big number. There are various websites and applications around the world which allow us to contribute even more data to this already large number. Some are spearheaded by massive companies like Google, Facebook, and Amazon, to name a few. In fact, these corporations are built on top of this overload of data. Most of this data is stored on centralized systems, which are prone to many issues, like single points of failure, where if a central server or storage facility experiences technical issues, outages, or cyber attacks, it can result in a widespread data loss or unavailability. There are also concerns about data privacy. Users may worry about how their data is handled, who has access to it, and how it is used without their consent. Scalability has always been an issue in centralized systems. Expanding storage capacity and performance may become very, very complex and costly as the organization's data needs increase. Another long-standing issue is user verification. There has always been a problem with credential theft, where if an attacker gains access to a user's federated credentials, they can potentially access multiple services associated with those credentials. Data sharing has also always been an issue, since sometimes logging in with federated credentials can often share some level of information with the independent party and relying services, causing privacy issues. There's also a massive loss of control, where users may have limited control over their personal data when relying on third-party identity providers. But unfortunately, we can't stop using it. The truth is that in the future, we will be living in the metaverse just as we are in the real world. The digital world is becoming an increasingly larger part of our lives, and soon we might find ourselves spending more time in it than out here. In this new duality, we're going to need a more ineffable means of identifying who we are and proving who is in the face of that outward appearance. How would you feel if your psychologist or teacher had a fake degree? What would happen if someone stole your credit card information or accessed your Google account credentials? Many of these issues are tied together by a recurring problem of outdated verification systems and insufficient security for traditional identity management systems. Centralized systems also put users at risk for large-scale breaches and hacks, while federated models allow companies to track your data without your knowledge. So what can we do? Well, the solutions are self-sovereign identities. To put it simply, self-sovereign identities are digital identities that are managed in a decentralized manner, without the need for third-party organizations to store or centrally manage this data. They give individuals greater control and ownership over their personal information and credentials in the digital world. They are designed to address the challenges and limitations of traditional centralized identity systems. In other words, what does it mean for us? Well, SSIs are user-centric. In self-sovereign identity systems, individuals are at the center of the identity ecosystem. Users have control over their identity information and can choose how and where to share it. They are the ultimate authority over their own digital identity. It's also decentralized and secure. They are typically built on decentralized and distributed ledger technologies such as blockchain. This decentralization makes it more difficult for a single authority to control or misuse data, since security is enhanced through cryptographic mechanisms. There's also a big chat around verifiable credentials. SSI relies on this topic since they are issued by trusted entities. These credentials can represent attributes like age, qualifications, or membership in an organization. Users can present these credentials as proof of identity or qualifications, and the third parties can verify them without needing to contact the issuer directly. There's also a reduction in data exposure. SSIs aim to minimize the amount of personal data shared during transactions or interactions. Users only reveal specific attributes or credentials as needed, rather than sharing their entire identity, reducing the exposure of personal information. So now I know there's a few skepticals. Decentralization, blockchain, crypto. Yes, self-sovereign identities are built using the decentralized and distributed ledger technologies. And no, it is not affected by Bitcoin failing or succeeding. I had a very serious man approach me in my final year for the self-sovereign identity project demo we did, and he was cautiously listening to everything we had to say. But one comment stuck of the 20-minute conversation. You know, Bitcoin is crashing, right? This statement prompted me to do some research on how cryptocurrencies could possibly influence self-sovereign identities, and it doesn't, not directly anyway. There are, however, a few indirect effects it has. The underlying blockchain technology used by a self-sovereign identity system can also affect how popular it is. Many SSI systems utilize these distributed ledger technologies for security and decentralization. Thus, the success or stability of this blockchain platform can affect the reliability and security of the SSI. For example, if a blockchain used for SSI experiences a major security breach, then it might undermine the trust in the SSI system itself. There's also a very bad perception of blockchain technology among common users. A broader perception of blockchain technology as a result of the cryptocurrency market's success or failure can influence how people view the sustainability of blockchain for SSI systems. Success in the blockchain space can enhance trust in its capabilities, while failure can raise skepticism. But why use decentralization for self-sovereign identities? Well, firstly, there is no central authority controlling your data. This aligns with the core principles of self-sovereign identities, where individuals have control over their own identities without relying on a single controlling entity. Decentralization also enhances security and trust in the system. It also brings with it immutable records, which means once data is recorded on a blockchain, it is typically tamper-resistant and immutable. This is crucial for maintaining the integrity of identity records. Users can trust that their data hasn't been compromised or altered without their consent. Data ownership is also very important. In a blockchain-based SSI system, users often have ownership of their identity through cryptographic keys. They can control who can access and verify their credentials, and this aligns with the idea that users have the ultimate authority over their digital identities. Decentralization also brings with it better security. It employs cryptographic methods for securing data, and these security features make it challenging for malicious actors to compromise the system or gain access to personal information, enhancing the security of self-sovereign identities. The next big topic of self-sovereign identities is verifiable credentials. Imagine SSI as being a digital wallet, and in this wallet, all information that identifies you for being you is stored. I have my wallet on me with my South African ID and my driver's license and maybe a student card, a macro card. All these provide me with credentials issued by their respective parties and requested by them or third parties who would like to verify and provide or decline some service based on those credentials. SSI binds all this data to you as a digital identity. So instead of carrying around 20 different membership or government cards, have it all linked to your digital identity instead. The verification model used by self-sovereign identities is very simple. It consists of three parties, namely the issuer, the holder, and the verifier. The issuer is a trusted entity who generates credentials, like a university issuing student credentials or a government issuing passports. These credentials represent specific attributes, qualifications, or affiliations. The issuer digitally signs his credentials, vouching for their authenticity. The holder is then the individual who receives these verifiable credentials. They store these credentials in their digital wallet or identity store, maintaining control over their personal data. And then the verifier is any party that or service that needs to confirm the accuracy of the information presented by the holder. Verifiers can request and verify these credentials from the holder without needing to contact the issuer directly. This reduces the need for sharing unnecessary information. It's an effective model, especially since underlying blockchain technology makes it extremely difficult to forge or alter these credentials. So we have briefly discussed some issues with traditional identity verification, as well as data privacy concerns, and I've shown how SSI can alleviate these problems. But if it is so great, then where is it? Why haven't we been seeing it yet? Well, there are many reasons that it hasn't been widely adopted yet. And to highlight a few, we firstly have the lack of awareness. Many people are not aware of self-sovereign identities or their advantages. Widespread adoption requires public awareness and understanding of how SSI works and the benefits they bring. There's also a matter of the existing infrastructure. The traditional identity systems, such as usernames and passwords, are deeply entrenched in the digital world. Replacing or augmenting these systems with SSI requires a significant shift in infrastructure and user behavior. User adoption was also a large concern, since while SSI offer more user control and privacy, they also require users to take a more active role in managing their own digital identities, and not all users are comfortable or willing to do this. People also have trust and security concerns, as building trust in new identity systems is crucial. Concerns about the security and reliability of SSIs must be addressed to gain users and organizations' confidence. Self-sovereign identities are seen as a way to enhance privacy, security, and user control in the digital age. They have the potential to transform how individuals interact online, making it easier to manage and protect their digital identities and reducing the risk associated with centralized identity systems. And while self-sovereign identities hold promise and have been seen in some niche adoptions in some industries, it will likely take time for them to achieve mainstream usage. Efforts are ongoing to overcome these challenges and to promote the benefits of SSIs. And as the technology matures, we may see greater adoption in the future. Thank you very much.